How we doing, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Top Step. My name is Rowland-Smith. Now, I'm going part 2 with Matt Boyd because we just absolutely hit it off. He's now one of my best mates in the whole wide world. No, I'm kidding. He's such a good dude. But last week when we spoke to Matt, I was jumping around so much. I just wanted to talk pitching and all this other stuff that I completely ran out of time. He had to go. He's got priors. He's got things to do besides talk to me all day on the podcast. But I wanted to talk to him about his charity. It's unreal. It's amazing what he does for sex trafficking in Uganda. It's pretty crazy. So I really wanted to talk about that. So he said, hey, man, let's do a part 2. No worries. And we talk about baseball right now, rebuilding, how teams rebuild the Detroit Tigers, how they look right now with their rebuild and how he feels about that term rebuild as a player and who they got coming up and everything else. And we talk about the Mariners as well for you Mariner fans. But hey, last week on the podcast, I said, hey, first of all, if you got any recommendations of people you want me to reach out to talk to, and I got a lot of really good ones. One of them for you Mariner fans, I got 2 of these actually. Todd Cook, big shout out to Cooks and Sons on Twitter. He's him and his boys. I've watched them grow up actually from the field. Watching them, they're big Mariner fans, and they go around and they're pretty committed to Mariners baseball. That's for sure. And they do a lot of awesome things online. He's been great. He's always been very gracious with me, even through my bad years. Him and his sons. But he did. But just giving him a shout out. He mentioned Harold Reynolds, talking to him about being in the Mariners Hall of Fame. And a couple other things. I'd love to have Harold on. He's a good dude, and he's done a ton too. So definitely I'll have to see about getting him on. Another one was Lauren Jackson. It's funny, I talk to Lauren all the time, played for the Seattle Storm, MVP of the WNBA. She's a lot of fun too. Her and I were really close, really good mates here in Seattle. We used to hang out all the time at the Kangaroo and Kiwi. We used to drink beers there and hang out at the old location. Never at the new location. It was never there when we were around. But I'd love to have Lauren on too. I actually texted her and said, hey, jump on my podcast, and she's happy to do it. So there's a couple more. But hey, another email I got. I appreciate you guys reaching out. Hey, tell the story about when I got locked in the bathroom when a brawl broke out. I caught it on the radio, and I missed the beginning. I only caught the last part. But I was laughing hysterically. Can you tell that story on the podcast? Okay, so I'm more than happy to. I've told that story a couple times. It's kind of a famous story, made famous by me. This was 2008. We were scuffling. The Mariners were not good that year. Richie Sexson was not living up to his contract. We all know that. He was frustrated. I think he's hitting sub 200. Kaysen Gabbert was pitching for the Texas Rangers early in the game. He throws one. I think it barely went anywhere near Richie Sexson, but he got upset over it. And I was sitting in the bullpen with my buddies. Like, oh, wow, it's going to happen. Something's going to go down here. This is at Safeco, now T-Mobile Park. So we're kind of sitting up there. And I was like, oh, man. So, all of a sudden your heart rate jumps up just a couple beats. And you're like, okay, next at bat, something's going to go down for sure because I had words and the whole thing. Well, me getting distracted like I usually do. He's about to come up in the order. I'm not even paying attention to the game. And I should be, because usually I'd sort of pitch early on in the game at that point. I think I was like the mop-up guy still, 2008, early in the year. Not paying attention. I just start wandering down to the bathroom in the bullpen at Safeco Field / T-Mobile Park. I still get stuck calling it Safeco. I don't know if anyone else is the same way. But I'm sitting there, so I'll try and explain this the best I can. So if you're looking out over the field, there's a ramp that goes down right behind the wall at left center field where the bullpen is, right there at T-Mobile Park. And you walk down, well, if you go all the way down the bottom of the ramp, you can open that giant swinging wall / gate. It opens up, and it's really heavy. Like, it's really heavy. Like, someone's got to help you sort of yank that thing open to run out on the field. Right? You don't want to pull a lat or something when you're about to go pitch. But anyway, someone usually is there to help you most of the time. So it's a big padded wall, like you see at left center field. You open that puppy up, and out you go. So, well, right behind where that entryway to the field is the door to the bathroom. And so they're on a 90-degree angle. I don't know if I'm an idiot. I don't know if you call it adjacent or whatever you call it. But basically, the door to the bathroom's right here, and that's only just a regular door. Yeah, like a regular door you have at home. And open that thing up. So I go to the bathroom. I'm in there doing my business, and not even thinking that Richie Sexson's about to come up. And I'm zoned out at this point. I don't know what I was thinking about. And next thing I hear is just the crowd. It wasn't a huge crowd that night, I'm pretty sure. but they were loud. All of a sudden, boom, Richie gets drilled, I believe, runs out, throws his helmet at Case and Gabbett, lefty for the Texas Rangers. And all I hear is now it's concrete as you go down that ramp. All I hear is click, click, click. I just hear spike marks hitting that concrete. Click, 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 click of about 7 dudes from the bullpen running out, and it hits me. I hear that giant wall open up, right, onto the field, and it hits me. I'm like, oh man, there's a bench clearance. I'm stuck in the bathroom. You've got to be kidding me. So I'm like, straight away, put my pants up. I'm getting ready. I didn't even wash my hands. Sorry, I know COVID-19, but I didn't even wash my hands. I'm trying to open the door. Now the door opens out, and that huge wall, which doubles as a the gate to get out to the field, is blocking my exit. So I'm trying to open this door. I'm trapped. So I have that second decision. Do I stay in the bathroom, wait this puppy out while everything goes nuts, right? Or do I run out on the field? I've got a question. I don't know what you would do, but I cannot be stuck in that bathroom when my teammates are getting into a scrap on the field. So I just force it. I think I'm kicking it, slipping over. I'm wearing spikes. Kick it open. Finally, I get the door just a little bit ajar. That's the right terminology. And I sneak my way through around the gate. And there I am. Everything's already calmed down at this point. Everyone's standing around. The crowd's watching. Here comes Lone Ranger coming from left field when everyone's already on the field. I'm just running in. People looking at me. What's this dude doing? Is this reinforcements? Where was this guy 10 minutes ago? It was the most embarrassing run I've ever had in my life. Get out to the field. Everything's already calmed down. I put on stick the chest out, put the tough guy face on. I'm looking around like, all right, let me at him, like little Scrappy on Scooby Doo, and then some of my teammates. I remember JJ Putz looks at me. He was a big, imposing force. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" Because he could see me from his peripheral vision running in. I probably had toilet paper stuck in my pants or something, but I'm just looking at him like my head down like this. I was still a rookie at this point. It was the most embarrassing run ever. And then Eric O'Flaherty, Sean Green, a couple of these guys like, dude, what were you doing, man? I was like, I was stuck in the bathroom. So I had to go back up to the bathroom. If you're down in the bullpen, and you could basically see 4 or 5 guys standing around and me with a whiteboard basically drawing up a diagram of how the door got jammed. Anyway, so that was a brutal run for me. So I wanted to share that story. Thanks for bringing that back up. On the email, but let's get right to it, guys. I've got part 2 of Matt Boyd, and it's amazing, man. We talk about it a lot. He's a lot of fun. Seattle local, born and raised, and we get into it. But I hope you enjoy this episode. Again, if you're enjoying these episodes, remember, send me some questions too. I got a couple others sent to me, but send me some questions or send me some guests. If you want to hear from certain guests, let me know. And make sure you share this podcast with your friends. Review it. Apparently, I've been told, I say this every week now, if you review it and you get 5-star, it moves up the ranks, I guess. But yeah, tell your buddies about the podcast. I'm really enjoying this while we're in such a tough time. It's talking to a lot of these people, having these conversations. And make sure you download it, subscribe, wherever you listen to it. And you enjoy this episode as Matt Boyd joins me on the top step.
No matter what happens, Rowland-Smith has something to tell his grandkids right here. First appearance in the big leagues. He's a Hall of Famer. Especially if he strikes him out.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Junior now. The breaking ball. He struck him out. Yeah, that will be a story for the rest of his life. As he strikes out Junior. And the end result of what it was.
All right, Matt. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you coming back on. I actually noticed too, but get a look. I'm going to switch you over so we can both see you. Dude, you've been relocated to the basement. What happened? What happened? Is that my fault from last week?
Yeah, I was too loud last time. No. Yeah, basically, we got a guest room that's also doubling as a bonus room, and
Right.
and Dad's office, I guess. That when you run a nonprofit, you get the big office downstairs. So that's my wife's office downstairs. I get the guest room, but
Nice.
we got family coming into town, so because of that, I got relocated to the basement. So my desk
Gotcha.
is down here now. Yeah.
So the family's flying from Seattle.
Just my mom. She's gonna come out and help out with the family, with the 2 little ones and the dog. And thought we'd be playing baseball this week, but So yeah.
Speaking of that, how much? Because what are plane tickets costing right now? I haven't even looked. I haven't even gone onto like usually I'm like searching for like plane tickets and stuff pretty constantly or whatever. What are we talking? Is it?
It's a
cheap?
lot cheaper. It's a lot cheaper to do a round trip flight now. I mean, I think even going to Uganda, we looked last month. It said it was going to be $700 round trip. Usually it's like, a couple grand at least. So
wow,
it's different time right now. But yeah.
How do you get to Uganda from Detroit? You usually last time you went there, did you go from Detroit or from the West Coast?
No, we're going from Seattle. So the way we've gotten there was I've gone there last 2 times I went. One time I went Seattle to Paris to Uganda or Kenya.
Yeah.
And then the other time I went Seattle to Dulles in DC, and then Dulles to Addis Ababa, and then Addis Ababa to like Entebbe, Uganda. So
gotcha.
That was a little more of it was a more direct shot, but it was, I mean, flying into a place like Addis Ababa, it's like the birthplace of life.
Right.
You talk about just in the airport, seeing so many different cultures of the world. It's just like, and it's just crazy too. Cause I get on the plane that's connecting, in Ethiopia, and it's just different. It's just a different world. You got people sitting in the jumper seats and, it's just how it rolls over there. So it was cool.
Are you getting? I mean, are you sticking out like a sore thumb? Are people like, what the hell are you doing on this plane?
Oh yeah, especially, and sticking out like a sore thumb and coming out from the middle of Northwest where there's no sunlight either. So I'm not having any sort of tan either. So
gotcha.
I'm sticking out really, really bad. But people over there are so kind, and that's the coolest part. It's really cool to when someone from a different country opens up to show you their culture and everything, and it's you just have such appreciation for everything that goes on. And I love Uganda. I love it so much. It's really, really special.
So last time we were talking last week, so you're going to come out basically as part 2 of the Matt Boyd podcast, the saga, right? And you had to get off because Ashley, your wife, had to use that room, or she needs some time. I think you had to take over the babysitting duties. It was tag team, you're in, or do some work. So the work she's doing is what we're talking about right now. And this is something that I asked you. I said, hey man, can we continue on another day? Because it's fascinating. This charity, you read up about it, what you're doing is so unique and it's massive, dude. It is massive. And I still feel like I'm sure it will eventually get national attention and spread. I'm sure it will. But talk us through it, man. Tell everyone what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
You and your wife, Ashley. I know she does a lot for it.
No, yeah. I mean, my wife's the executive director, right? This is what her dream has been, and she's welcomed me into her dream as we're a partner, we're a team, right? So it's like she's part of my dream, I'm part of her dream, and it's basically what it is, it's called Kingdom Home. Our mission is to end child sex trafficking through prevention, and in that, it's really, really special. Basically, we started out with partnering with a lady named Dorothy who had 36 girls that were either rescued or were orphaned because of the sex trade. And when I say because of, like, they were at risk of entering the sex trade because they were orphaned and whatnot. So we partnered with her, and I mean, through God's grace and funding and the kind hearts of so many people around the world, we were able to grow to from 36 girls to now 156 boys and girls over 4 different homes. So our goal is to end child sex trafficking through prevention. Out of the 156 boys and girls, I think their ages 4 to 15. And our mission as Kingdom Home is to just it's providing a safe place, a refuge. It's not an orphanage, it's a home. And in that, like, it's every there's a house mother and house parents and aunties or uncles, depending on if it's a boys' home or a girls' home, and these children and where they didn't have families. Now they do, right? They have aunties and uncles and a mom or a dad and brothers and or sisters, and they're living as every child should, just going to school every day, singing and dancing without any fear of what could have been or what was. Now they're living in a place that is just joyful, and safe. And these children will, as they grow up, they will either they'll go into vocational training or university if school allows them to, and Kingdom Home will pay for that, or vocational training or university, and hopefully equip more leaders that will want to have the same mission, is to end child sex trafficking, or human trafficking in any capacity, in this lifetime that we're in.
So you said this is Ashley's, this is really her thing, right?
Yeah.
Going into this.
Yeah.
So it has that pro microphone. Hey, by
I'm
the way,
working on it.
I appreciate too. I right after we got done with the last episode, dude, your sound quality was terrible. Get down to Best Buy. It's open now, and go drop $2,000.
This was a back order for 2 months. I ordered after the first month. We did so many Zoom interviews and stuff like this, so it's like,
oh man,
sounded scrubby.
I just got an alert, like an idiot. I waited to the last second for a Mother's Day present for my wife, and I just got an alert. It's ready to roll at the post office.
There you
so
go.
I was like,
right on.
yeah, it's backward. No, but the real story is you went down to Best Buy and got hooked up. Because,
exactly.
We had to be part to the right
you told
way.
me to.
Yeah, I was like, get down there. So basically, like, how does this come about, right? Because it is unique. Is this? I mean, when you and Ashley met, did she say, "Hey, by the way, if we're going to get serious, this is something I'm going to do"? How's this come about? Like, how do you choose this specific cause?
Yeah, the big thing when we first started talking, Ashley was teetering. Like when we first met, it was right before my senior season, so senior year in the fall, right before Christmas time, and we met and we were, sharing our dreams. She had no clue that I played baseball, and I was, sharing a dream about what I wanted to do after my senior year, Lord willing. Didn't know if I was going to have an opportunity to or not. And she was sharing her dream of mine with me, and hers was, she was at the time deciding whether she wanted to go into law school, and she's always had a heart for social justice. So it was like, how can I represent and help those who don't have a voice? And
this is in Oregon, right?
Oregon
Corvallis?
State University. Yeah, Corvallis.
Is she from
Portland?
She's from Portland. Gotcha.
Yeah, so she's Beaverton. So she grew up in Beaverton.
Gotcha. She Mariners fan?
What? I guess she probably was more of a Portland Beavers fan because they were around while she was there, right?
There
Yeah.
There you go.
I introduced her to Mariners baseball right before, and then before we do it, I was a Blue Jay after that. So there was like, oh, we love the Blue Jays now. So she had this heart for social justice, and she was like she was like, I don't think law is the right way. I don't think I can really make an impact on the level that I really want to do the law side. So I want to go into the non-governmental organization side, like an NGO. And she got a job out of college. We got married a year out of college, but we got engaged after, that year after. I graduated, she graduated. And so as I was spending my first year in the minors, and she was back home, she got a job with an organization called Remember New. And their goal is the same as ours, end child sex trafficking through prevention. And they have our sister company, our parent company, we're under their umbrella, however you want to say it. But they have essentially they have such a great model. They have gone out into, they're in over 32 countries, and they have over 100 homes. Basically, they've gone out and they have this model that's touched the lives of over 4,000 children that have been, not in the sex trade. They were at risk of entering the sex trade because of the stats. They were at high risk, and now they're, like the first girl knew. I mean, she's actually now, it's amazing. Her life has just changed, and she's running her own business now, so it's like really cool. So they gave us the framework, and they showed us what to do. So Ashley was working with them first, and she kind of worked herself out of a job. 2017 rolls around, she was chasing her dream. I was chasing my dream. When we got married, we were living together. We were in the minor leagues, and she was making more on support than I was as a minor leaguer, and then it's just, over time, we ended up having our first child, and she goes, I feel like I'm supposed to step back. I don't really know why. This is my dream job. Everything about this is a dream, but, and it's perfect. I love the people. I love the mission, but something's different. I got to change this. So in that, or not change, I got to change this. I got to see how God's calling me. And
was it overwhelming for her though? Did she get to a point where it was like, man, this is just a lot?
No, it wasn't. She actually worked herself out of a job.
Gotcha.
She created a database with them to streamline like connecting the people who were sponsoring children to the children that over like they're themselves. So like, connecting you with someone in Cambodia. And so she kind of worked herself out of a job, and she goes, I just feel called to do something else. Like, this is my dream. This is what I want to do. So a few months pass on. We're staying in close contact with her boss, her old boss. And then we get to the point where we're at, we tell them we feel called to go serve the gospel in Uganda over Christmas time in 2017. We said, well, there's not enough time to do it this year, so we're going to go next year over Thanksgiving. Right. He's like, we're going there too at that time. We just opened up a new home in Uganda. So he knew we had a heart. He's like, come with us. So we're planning this trip, and then, time goes on. A month later, it's spring training, and he calls us and he goes, there's a lady in need. And we actually just hit, I don't want to say like their quota. They don't have a quota, but they said like, we're expanding too fast and we can't take anybody else on.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha.
But we know that you guys have a heart for this country, and you've talked about a nonprofit, and would you want to partner with them? And then it just developed a partnership to what is Kingdom Home today, and God just keeps growing it. So it's been pretty special.
And with that, so, a couple things. It must be, you go down to Uganda and you see it obviously firsthand. When you're actually there, you're like, well, okay, it's got to hit you way harder once you get there, right?
It does. I think kind of the best story that I could tell, honestly, it didn't even take place in Uganda, but just in the realm of the sex trade, how it hit me was when Ash and I with Remember New went to Thailand on what they called like a vision trip, which we plan on to start having, bringing people over, right? It's bringing prospective employees, prospective volunteers over to kind of see the mission, and we flew into Bangkok, and we saw like the horrific darkness, and I get goosebumps because it was that it made the hair on your neck stand up, of the darkness of what was the red light district, where they're advertising little boys and children just in broad daylight. And you're going, man, this is a monstrosity. How is this happening? Like, how, but then we went to the villages, to see where the children came from. And in those villages, you saw where sometimes 50 cents feeds a whole family for a month. And then we went to the children's homes, and you saw the villages where the children, so like elaborating on the villages, someone will come into the city, and someone will come into the village and say, hey, I have a friend that works in the city. And if you're orphaned or living with a relative or a sibling, they'll say, you can let your sibling or, your nephew come work for me in the city. I'll send back $15 a week, and he'll be working for a wealthy man in the city. And that's kind of code for, entering the sex trade or in some capacity. But it's money that maybe they have to provide for their other 4 children or whatnot. Right. So we saw the village, but then we saw the home. And you kind of have this, you're like, okay, what are we going to expect? But you just see children living as children should, just joyful, singing, dancing, doing schoolwork. There's a computer in the home, and there's four kids around the computer, like looking what you do, just like you were. And I, like when we were and we were growing up with our friends and siblings, they have a mother, and they have aunties, and, they're sitting there reading and just living as children should. And it's so, so special. And, in that, it's like you're sitting there, and it's just over the course of a week, you're just floored, and you're going, man, what is this? And then that's what's happening now. Sorry about that. That's what's happening now over in Uganda. And that's what Ashley and I, we're not the heroes of Kingdom Home. My wife does amazing work. God bless her. But the real heroes are those house parents that are pouring into the children day in and day out over there, molding these lives, becoming a parent for these children that didn't have a family, and teaching them God's love, teaching them helping them with their schoolwork, teaching them what it's going to take to go on in this world, and that they're loved and that they have hope in the future.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
and it's
awesome.
pretty cool.
There's got to be, I need to ask this, there's got to be like a dangerous factor to this, right? I mean, surely, isn't there like these groups that basically, you know, with the sex trafficking, it's got to be some sort of organized, you know, group, organized criminals that come in and have a whole process, and then you roll in, big Matt Boyd and Ashley, and this group, and you're pouring this money and you're taking these kids away from any opportunity from them. Is there that kind of like fear factor in that at all?
Oh yeah, completely. I mean, you got to know that there is a darkness, and there's a reason why this is one of the biggest industries in our world. Though it happens under the radar,
Yeah.
it's the money that it brings in is it's it's you know, it's beyond anything we can comprehend. But you got to think that they operate in the shadows. The bad guys operate in the shadows, right? It's making awareness and bringing to light what's happening, that, you know, sheds light on what's happening and makes people aware, and makes people aware of, you know, where it comes on in our country, even to anywhere else, right? And because of that, you think, man, there's so many good people out there, and there's so many people with abundant resources that have good hearts.
Yeah.
We're smarter than the bad guys. We can be smarter than the bad guys, you know, but it's about being aware and putting the effort out in the right ways. And in the, you know, and there's awesome organizations out there that are on the rescue side. You know, we're on the preventative side. We want to get to the children before they enter it. But like International Justice Mission is on the rescue side. You know, you remember Adam LaRoche, he's on the rescue side, the stuff that he does. Albert Pujols is deeply entrenched in ending sex trafficking. So there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of great things. Clayton Kershaw is another one that does that he has his own foundation that supports other organizations. So, you know, everyone's kind of got their piece of the pie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go, okay, we have a great resource in Remember New and people that know how to do it on the prevention side. This is our piece of the pie. We need to attack this piece of the pie and be solely devoted to this piece of the pie on the prevention side, and get to as many children as we can that are at risk and give them hope in the future. Right. You know, and away from darkness, away from, you know, potentially entering this, right? There's International Justice Mission and other people that have this piece of the pie that go, man, there are people that are in this that need to be rescued, and we're going to dive into that. And it's like, then there's people, you know, who maybe don't fit any of those pieces of the pies. They're going, man, like, I'm going to keep my eyes open to understand what it is to see stateside. Like, what are some like telltale signs that someone might be in this against their will, you know? And it's like, people are in, like, and that's how we're going to end this thing together. And there's bad guys everywhere, but you know what? Like, there's a lot. I think there's a lot more people with hearts that want to end this thing because it's so dark, and you know, and we can together.
So you don't feel when you fly into Uganda, there's no security protocol. You don't feel like some risk of, if you walk into these areas or meet these kids or you're around, and obviously, it brings a lot of attention if you see, you know, you stick out like a sore thumb, you and Ashley rolling in.
And we're minorities. You know, that's what it comes down to, right? We're minorities in Africa. Yeah.
Right. And someone's going to be tipped off saying, hey, they're affecting our industry, right? One of the largest industries in the world. So there's no, when you roll in, there's no like, hey, look, you know, make sure we do this, this, and this. Is any security or anything like that?
Yeah. You know, we have some awesome people that take care of us while we're there. We have, I mean, they're just extensions of our family, you know, they're just our Ugandan family now. Right. But there is that level of it, right? You know, we can't, it's you have to be careful, because what you're saying, you're essentially shutting down an industry and taking, you know, that's our mission, right? So there's precautions that we have to take when it comes down to it. And you know, but we're doing what God's called us to, and there's no fear in that, right? It's like taking the ball and going 3-2 and throwing a heater into a power hitter, right? You know, if you're convicted to that pitch, you know, you're supposed to throw it. Well, you know, a well-executed pitch is the right pitch. So it's like, I'm going to take this and throw it. And whether it's
Well,
Can't be afraid in that.
if you go back to my go to Baseball Reference and look at 2010, you trust me, you'll know that there was plenty of fear factor for me. I can remember him very clearly. That 3-2 fastball in was absolute kryptonite to me. Let me tell you. But thanks for bringing that up. Appreciate it.
Oh, sorry.
We'll pull up. I'll screen share the Baseball Reference so you can see what I'm talking about. So it must be when you how long do you spend in Uganda when you go down there?
The past few times we've gone, we've spent better parts of a week to 2 weeks.
Gotcha. So when you leave there, it must be okay.
And Kingdom Home sending teams throughout the year.
Yeah,
we have partners. There's a lot of good things happen in Uganda, and we have a lot of partner organizations. So when an organization goes over, there's constantly people going over to see and help out, whether it's on an aid mission or giving children a checkup or whatnot too.
Yeah, and this is my question: when you go to Uganda, right, and you leave, or you're about to leave, you must leave there. And again, anytime you see something firsthand, you see it in person. It's completely different to looking at a YouTube video and someone telling you, "Hey, give us money" or something like that for this charity, right? It's completely different. You must leave there, feeling like, man, I've barely make a dent because you've opened the floodgates. This is what I'm doing, and it's got to be, in a sense, heartbreaking because you're like, man, there is just so many more kids, families that we could impact. And you're just starting, right? I mean, really, you're essentially just starting. So you must leave there thinking, man, we have to do more. It's got to open up the floodgates.
Yeah, it does. You want to help every child that is at risk, right? And part of it is like knowing, just knowing all of it, right? Like understanding like, one, like I said, our piece of the pie. How are we going to affect, what are we called to, and how can we take care of our piece of the pie? And then two, also realizing like that in, we understand if we get spread too thin, we're not going to be able to help every child.
Yeah, right.
We're not going to help the children that we have, right?
Yeah.
We need to know that we're going to move as we're called, and God's going to bring the right people to be a house parent to expand, right? Because you don't want to bring someone in that doesn't have the same interests, right? Or has bad interests, and then you're bringing children into a potentially worse situation, right? Or something like that. So you just know that there's an order to do it, and it's a long process. It's not something that says, boom, okay, we got the money now, let's just go do it. But it's a process, and it's a longer process. So you want to help everyone, you do, but you got to know that there's an order to it.
Right. And going there too, has it completely changed you and how you look at life and in general? Going there, coming back, oh man, because it's such a contrast, right? You go into a place like Uganda, like I've traveled, I've been to third world countries, Indonesia and other places like that. You come back and you just have a different appreciation, and the little things that you seem to complain about or found that you thought were rough or tough going or whatever, and you got to get back off the plane.
It puts things in perspective. You know what I mean? Like that's the truth. It does put things in perspective when you're and I mean, just thankful for running water. Thankful I don't have to walk with a 32-gallon bucket on and carry it with my brothers and sisters just to have clean water to cook with and drink and everything like that every day, right? So it's cool stuff, but it's not cool stuff. Well, what I was thinking about saying cool stuff is that, like, talking about the water reference, though, like while we were there on the land, we were able to have a well installed. So it was pretty cool to see that happen, and and just that amazing things are happening.
Yeah. How did you and Ashley meet? Let's go back to.
Oh man.
She was handing out pamphlets for this, and you're
no.
You were walking around with the Oregon State, just dry fit on, backpack.
I was getting ready. I was training. I was going to be my first year starting. I didn't start at college until my senior year.
Oh, wow.
So so I was.
So you were kind of under the radar as a.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't throw 95. I just 88 to 90. I was a command guy with 4 pitches, and I came back from my senior year after being drafted, and I wanted to. I just wanted to, won a World Series and won a Pac-12 championship. So, I mean, we came back, and it was I was training at the rec center. I was doing workouts with the team in the morning, and then at night I was running and doing like swimming and just trying to build up stamina, thinking that was going to help me be a better starter at the time. And being there, I would just I met Ashley, at the rec center because she worked in the cafe, and I thought she had a great customer service. She gave me such a big smile, and she said she has good customer service. I thought she liked me, but then in that it was I gave her my number. I got in great shape. I think she had shifts covered for like multiple weeks after that, and I just kept had a number in my wallet. It's like, I'm going to give it to her and ask her to coffee. And finally, a few weeks later, she was there. I probably worked out every single day for those few weeks, and got in great shape. But I gave her my number.
Straight beach workouts, or what?
Yeah, exactly, something like that. Yeah, and after that, the rest is history. Went to coffee, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. That's great. And I mean, you knew she was pretty passionate about this stuff when you guys met, I take it.
Yeah, completely. And that's like, she was deciding how she wanted to get into this world and make a difference in the world and social justice. And it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. So I noticed you do like, Top Golf to raise some money and stuff like that. Is that what's your primary way of raising money or raising awareness for what you're doing?
We have events from time to time. We had an event scheduled for this week actually, but not happening now with everything going on in the world. Right. But we have random events, trying to build something a little more concrete. We're only in our third year of existence. Right. So we'd love to have some annual events like this Top Golf thing and hopefully like maybe a banquet, maybe in the Seattle area or something. But, one of the main ways is that we raise money is just through just a relationship with the child is really what it comes down to. Is if you want to make a difference in the sex trade, and you can sponsor a child, and it's through our child sponsorship program. And basically in that, like, you can sponsor a child from anywhere from I think it's $60 or $50 to $120 a month, and through that, you're providing for the child's every needs. And through that, you can also, send mail. When teams go over, they'll deliver mail, and mail will be brought back, and cool things like that. And it's just a way that you can know that you're impacting a child's life that, that needed it. Yeah.
That's awesome. So is this something your teammates, you can go to them? You got a lot of young guys, right, on your team. So you got a lot of young guys getting called up. Are you standing at the front door of the clubhouse saying, "Hey, listen to this," like basically trying to get them involved? Or is it...
Well, we've been it's so cool that we have guys that are just kind of hungry. They have their eyes open to the mission, and that they want to go make a difference. And because of that, like, we got guys that are partnering with us, and it's been really, really special. I mean, our teammates and the Tigers organization has really helped us out in so many ways.
That's cool.
And it's, man, I'm so thankful for all of them. Just getting the word out, like showing up to events, but also like, giving time and money. I mean, I took a teammate over last year, took Spencer Turnbull over last year, and he wanted to see it firsthand. Yeah. And it was like, nice. I mean, that was really special. So, there's a lot of cool stuff in that. And I'm really, really grateful for my teammates in that.
Speaking of the Tigers, right? You guys, obviously, young team. You're in that rebuild phase. This is one thing though with Major League Baseball, I find, and the Mariners are going through the same thing. It's okay now; it's acceptable. And I go back to 2007, 8, 9, around those years. There's no way a GM's coming out and basically, like Theo Epstein did with the Cubs in 2012, right? Who when you took over the Cubs, come out and said, "Oh, not this year, not you guys. I got a 5-year plan here." Now it's acceptable in a way to say, okay, from a business standpoint, this is what we're doing. We're going to load up our minor league system, and then basically we're going to have like a 2 to 3 year plan. I feel like 60% of baseball now does that, right? But the Tigers, how's it looking for them? I mean, where are they at when it comes to this whole process?
Yeah, we're close. We're close. I mean, we're gonna. I I even hate saying the word close. Like we're going to do it this year. You know, we're in. Like the vernacular that surrounds the third and fourth floor, you know, if you will, doesn't have to do with what's happening on the ground floor, because we're taking the ball. We're going out there to compete our tails off every single day.
Yeah.
You know, if we're going out there and say, oh, our year's a few years from now, it's whatever. Like, we're not gonna. Don't even play the games, because it's worthless, because that we're not gonna have the heart in it. But like we go out there, we're wanting to fight and win every single day, and that's what it comes. You know, that's what, when you walk through the threshold of that clubhouse, we're the worst team in baseball last year, man. We showed up to win every single day, and we had battled so many injuries, and we had guys grinding every single day. It was really special to see some of the guys. Like, we had guys coming into their own. I mean, Nico Goodrum played all over the field last year. Like, he's going to be our shortstop this year whenever we play. You know, and and he's great at it. But man, that guy was playing in center. He was lining up in the corners. He was lining up all across the diamond. You know, he just didn't catch and pitch. Those are the only two things he didn't do. And it's just like, you see that and you go, man, like, that guy's doing everything he can to win. And that's the kind of guys that we had throughout the ball club. But we were young, and because of injuries, we had guys that probably shouldn't be playing in positions that they were. And but guys were just showing up, say, hey, okay, this is my role today. I'm going to go do it. And we got better from it. Right. And in that, and going into the future, like with a rebuild, whether rebuilds are good or whatnot, I don't think that they're, because of the reasons I just stated. It's tough. It's tough for the guys on the field, because you have to separate that. You have to understand and say, that's their job. That's not my business. My business is to win ball games, and I'm going to go out there and do everything I can to win ball games. And baseball, you know, the talent level, the margin it's all up here, right? The margin's slim. It's mostly up here, you know, in most circumstances. So, you know, whether that's right for baseball or whatnot, that's a whole another conversation, another question that you may be asking later, but I don't know. But like, you know, when it comes down to it, we're hungry to win every single day. And the rebuild, that vernacular doesn't really respond well in the clubhouse, because it's like, no, we're here to win today. I don't care if it's the Yankees. I don't care if it's the Pirates or the Marlins or anybody in between. Like, we're going to go out there and we're going to compete our tails off every single pitch.
Yeah, in 2008, I think it was the second last start of the year, and I was pitching really well. And a reporter came up to me 3 days before it and said, oh, hey, if you guys lose these next couple games, you're going to get the first pick overall in the draft. It was us or the Nationals. Do you take that into your start? I looked at him like, I didn't even want to say get lost. Are you kidding me? Like, do you honestly think I care about next year's draft right now? No, I'm going to go out and like, oh yeah, I'm out there pitching like, oh yeah, it was the dumbest question, to the point where I'm like, I will never answer another question, because I'm done playing now. So I can look at it from a different view. But when you're playing and you walk into spring training day one, you're looking around the room going, hey, let's get after it, regardless of where, you know, you said the third or fourth floor is putting you guys or whatever. And that's how it should be. I just, you know, it's one of these things that you go through these years together. I remember Grant Balfour in 2007, and we'll finish up the year. He went over to the Tampa Bay Rays. I said, oh, you know, you guys are scuffling. He goes, no, man. He goes, they're a group of studs. These guys, they all know each other and they're hungry. He goes, they're going to be good next year. I was like, really? Like, they went to the World Series the next year. You know what I'm saying? Because they just did not care. It wasn't about, oh, you guys are young, whatever. And that's back in 2007. Yeah. You know, I just find it so funny, man. And here I am asking you these questions. Yeah. And I know the answer you're going to give me.
But that's how we feel, you know, and that's like, that was so crushing about this year. Is like, okay, we had all these guys that got so much experience, you know, and like of this last season. And then we come in this year and it's like, man, not only do we have the experience, but Miggy's healthy and swinging the bat better than he ever has. And he's in great shape. You got CJ Crone hitting behind him. You got Scopey sitting there. He's probably going to hit in front of him. Nico's going to be like playing shortstop every day. Jordy came back. They got Austin Romine behind the plate. Like, you got Mabin out there now again. Like, you're going, man, wow. Like, we just filled like places where, you know, like we got guys that can play the game now. You know, Ivan Nova coming into the back end of the rotation. And then you go to the minor leagues and you go, man, we got all these stud pitching prospects of, you know, Skubal, Faedo, Manning, Mai is like, and the list goes on and on and on. Like there's other guys behind them too that are very, very good as well. And you're going, man, like this is going to be great because competition breeds success.
Yeah.
I got to be around those guys. I learned so much from them this offseason or this spring training, just watching how Scooble toes the rubber, watching how he pushes off his backside, watching Matt Manning learn how to spin the baseball. It's like, oh man, like I'm talking to him, but I'm learning from watching him throw, and then it's like, all this sort of stuff that's, you're going, man, not to mention with the stuff we already have, the pieces we already have, and we're going to be incorporating these over the course of the season. Now, whatever the length of the season may be, but like we're going to be incorporating that. That's going to be really, really special and really, really exciting. And, now we got Spencer Torkelson, who's a guy that from everybody back at Oregon State, he's in the Pac-12 at Arizona State. Everyone says, man, this guy, I mean, they're comparing him to Conforto, and it's going, like, I played with Mike. I grew up with Mike. Like, that's high praise. I think Mike's one of the most underrated hitters in baseball. I think he's going to be one,
Right.
Conforto is I think he could be one of the best hitters when it's all said and done. But like, now you're saying that this guy's in that category and he's in our organization too. And he's a college kid that potentially moves fast. Like, it's exciting to say, man, we have what we have, and I'm excited with that. And knowing that there's guys coming that are going to be pushing every one of us at the big league level, man, competition breeds success, and it's going to be fun.
Do you think this, coronavirus, layoff, not getting the reps, you think that's had a massive impact when you're looking at a team like the Tigers or the Mariners, who are in this stage where they've got these young players and they want to get that chain moving a little bit? Do you think this has a massive impact with their development?
Depends
or
on how you
timeline,
look.
even.
Depends on how you look at it, right? Like
they're going to get rushed up now. You know what I'm saying? That's what I worry about.
I think the things that are hard to argue are innings that are going to be lost, at bats that are going to be lost, game experience. Yeah, that stuff, you can't make that up without having it, right? Yeah. But that being said, I mean, who knows how many arms are going to be saved for the future because of this?
Right,
I mean, it's like you can look at it either way, right? I had someone say to me, it's pretty, it's like, this is, I'm so tough. It's like, you're 29, you're in your, what would you consider your prime, and these are your best years. I'm like, this, in my mind, this has prolonged my career even longer. I use this time to get even stronger.
That's a good point.
And like, I didn't have a whole lot of innings outside of these last few years anyways as a starter, for a variety of reasons. Now, like, and that just got moved on, that just got pushed, that like type of, like, I think this is a benefit, like, would I rather be playing baseball? Absolutely. But this is something that is a benefit, so it's, I think that, I think a good will come out of this. Yeah. Good always comes out of it. Right. And it's just a matter of, sometimes you can't see the fruits of it right now, but maybe in December or next February, you're going to go, oh man, this was really cool because of this, or this guy got to be on the taxi squad when he wouldn't have been around big leaguers at all. And he got a chance to be in the big, or who knows what it could be. Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel there's a couple guys, Tom Murphy, who,
he took me deep twice last year.
Yeah. And he did a cartwheel too, by the way. I remember that when we got off, I was like, I don't know, did you even notice that? Like when Tom Murphy, he hit a home run, did a cartwheel in the dugout. Did your team?
Really?
Yeah, did your team even notice that?
No.
The reason I know that is because I doubled up. I did one in the studio to because I was working the game. I was like, oh, check this cartwheel out, and did one in the studio trying to top him. Like, it's like no one cares, no one's watching, dude. But guys like Tom Murphy, Austin Nola, those guys who are sort of, this is with the Mariners, who are sort of stuck in between. They've finally got a chance to play, to get to the big leagues and prove themselves, and they've had some success. Now they're stuck. Yeah. This is their year. And you have them banging on the doors, all these young players. That's I feel for those guys for sure.
No, I know, and that's tough. And it's tough. It's tough for those guys. It's tough for guys that are coming back from injury that want to prove them, that want to show that we got it. Instead of it's tough for the minor leaguers that are getting dumped. Like there's that for no reason. I mean, like, I understand there's a reason. I understand there's always roster turnover, but like, man, that's tough situation to put it in, because they're not going to go get another job in the baseball right now, so like that stuff's tough, but I know that good will come from it. Now, what good will come from it? There's a lot more stuff that's on the forefront of our minds that isn't good, like for all the reasons that we just said, but I know down the road good will come from it. It's just a matter of having that perspective, be able to look back and say, oh yeah, well, you know what, but it's tough.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna let you off, mate, because I know you got a big schedule. I appreciate you getting the microphone, and I, again, I want to, I'd love to be a part of this, the charity, everything you're doing, man. It's amazing. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, wow, like it's going above and beyond. So I appreciate what you're doing. And like I said, I was doing a pregame show. You're from Seattle, so every time you pitched, I talked about this last episode, and I was just like, what? I didn't realize it was that. I honestly thought it was, some third party that you're like, oh, we're raising money for doing a charity event. But there you are in Uganda on the front lines. I'm like, is this guy, man, this is amazing. Anyway, so I had a brand new respect for you. But spending this time with you, man, I'm an instant fan. I can't wait to watch you do your thing this year. It's going to be fun.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, awesome. Anytime, man. I'd like you to come back at some point.
All right.
Once we get playing. But we can do this in person. There we go. For sure.
Perfect.
Awesome. Hope you enjoyed this episode of The Top Step with Matt Boyd, Part 2. Again, send me some emails, send me some questions, emails. If you want me to tell a story, let me know, and I'm happy to play it on here. We'll have another guest next week. Hopefully baseball has come up with a decision to figure out what's going on so we can all get back to watching baseball again. Make sure you press that download button, press that subscribe button, tell your friends, give me a rating. Appreciate it, guys. We'll see you next week right here on The Top Step.
Killing them, killing them, killing them, killing them, killing them, killing them.